they think this, they've seen this, but I'm gonna say this.
Yeah, I feel like my story and my perspective, this was actually, the hardest stuff to write when I wrote this was the beginning chapters about like the good stuff, because I just felt like I was so not there, and it was so tough to get into that mindset to even talk about that, because it was so far removed from where I was at while I was writing. But what you said about not being alone, that's something that years ago when on Vanderpump Rules, I was always so hesitant to talk about, my issues with depression and anxiety, or, eating disorder issues. And I was so hesitant to talk about that stuff because I felt like people would just be like, oh yeah, she's miserable, or like I was so scared of going there. And then I kind of feel like I got pushed to a point where like it just came out, right? It just happened. And then once it happened, once I started talking about things, I realized that like the more I talk about stuff, the less power that stuff has over me. And then I started meeting people who also went through things or had the same issues, or we went through something similar, and we were able to connect, whether it was at a random bar in West Hollywood or in New York or wherever. We're able to talk, and then we connect, and then someone might say that I made them feel like they weren't alone, but what I'm like really feeling is, well, you're making me feel like I'm not alone, and then it makes me feel like, okay, it's okay, like there's other people. So that was honestly, in telling this whole story and going there and bringing out all these things and just kind of like being vulnerable about all these parts of the story, what happened in my relationship and my life, I felt like, okay, maybe it'll be the same. Like maybe if putting it in this book, maybe I'll meet people who'll say like, I went through something similar, and then I'll be able to find people that make me feel like I'm okay. And it's brought that for sure. Yeah.